What's up, everybody? In today's video, what we're doing is replacing a 6-volt motor in a deer feeder and getting ready for deer season. This will save you money in the long run. Only tools you need to complete this task is a set of Allen keys, and I strongly recommend getting a really good workbench or work table. You know, it just makes your job easier, and it doesn't hurt to spend that extra money. Just go ahead and get you a good one. If you can't afford it, ask your kids to borrow theirs. That's what I did. But y'all stay tuned and we're going to fix this feeder. Go. First thing you're going to do is take this off. A lot of these feeders are different, but they all work off the same concept. So alright, once you've got it off, you want to make sure you keep all the hardware to it somewhere you're not going to lose it. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to take the plate right here, and you're not going to be able to see it on the camera, but it's actually spinning, and the motor itself is not spinning. It's just the plate is sliding on that rod that comes out of the 6-volt motor. So what we got to do is take the feeder plate off the motor, and then we can go from there. So take a small Allen key, and these tiny, can you see it like that? These tiny nuts are usually flush. I went ahead and started them already, but you just want to take it and spin it off.
And these are super easy to lose. So turn it and do the same thing on the other side. Right.
And then the plate itself will come off just like that. You take your plate and your little screws, put them where you're not going to lose them. Alright, next thing you're going to do is grab a little bit bigger Allen key, and go ahead and take these ones. All these bolts right here do is secure the 6-volt motor to the top of the feeder housing unit.
So you take it.
If you buy a new motor, you don't really need to keep these because they come with brand new ones, but
I still don't want to send one through my window when I'm mowing the lawn, so I better pick them up. Do the same thing on the other side. Just got it started. So this one's junk. If you look at it,
if I were to grab this with a pair of pliers, you can see it's not spinning. It will not spin. That's seized up because it's sitting in the back of this dude's yard for 5 or 10 years. But take that, that's going in the trash. Go ahead and secure the other stuff over here. Now, come over here. Before you set up, before you go through the whole install of putting the new one in, you want to make sure it works before you put it in. Otherwise, you're putting it in and then you have to start back over.
so same thing on this side. Go ahead and undo it.
Alright, so got the new bolts off. What we're going to do now is try not to lose all of it. I'm just going to put this bolt in here. Can you see it? All right. Try and do it to where the camera can see it. You line it up, it'll fit straight through there, and then you just turn it till you find the screw holes, which is right there. Take your first screw, go ahead and start it. Once it's started, you're all right. I grab this little rod here, hold it, grab the second screw, and go ahead and start it. Once they're started, the hard work's done. Go ahead and take your little Allen key and tighten them in. Nice and secure. Go ahead and remove it and get the next one. And these feeder plates aren't but like $4, but I'm not going to spend $4 when I don't have to. So you take the second one. If you look really close, see how it's turning? If you look really close, there's a small cut on this rod that comes out of the 6-volt motor. You want that to line up with one of these screws, and you're going to screw it in flush, and that's what will tighten it so that this has spins and the rod's not spinning freely in here. So it's easiest if you take these and you start them off of the motor. And these can be finicky.
So, go ahead and get started.
Alright, so what we're doing here is screwing in these little catch pins on the feeder plate. And these are super easy to cross thread, so you gotta be really careful when you're putting them in. It does not take a lot to mess them up. You can go ahead and get it started. And what I'm doing is I'm looking down. There's a little hole where this rod comes up. I'm looking down in that hole to see where those screws are. I over tightened this one a tad, so I'm going to back it out just a little bit. Check it again. All right, it's flush in there. Now I'm going to line up these screws with the gap on that rod of the motor. Looks like I'm still a little bit too far in there. So you back it out just a tad more. Try to work it down. Same thing on the other side. There. So now it's in. You go ahead and tighten it. You want these to be really tight. So alright, so that's installed. I'm going to set this over here. Next thing you're going to do is hook everything back up and test it now that it's installed. So we'll go ahead and test it. It'll give a 10-second countdown, and then this should spin for 10 seconds. Alright, so it works perfect. So when you're installing it back onto the feeder, you want to get it without losing everything. You want to go ahead and get it just enough to where the corn is dropping out of the feeder funnel right here down into this. In other words, you don't want it so far down here that the corn is just falling out freely, because the corn will just pour out and get all over the place. You want it up against it so that it has enough space for kernels to fit through, and then when it spins, it throws them straight off this plate for 10 seconds or 20 seconds or however long you set your programmer to spin the corn. But down and dirty, that's how you replace the motor on these. I decided to do the video because I decided to place the motor on mine and there was no video on YouTube to show it. So hopefully this helps. If you want to see some hunt videos, check out my channel. Other than that, have a good day. Regular Dude Outdoors out.